much for joining me today for yoga time. I hope that we can take a little bit of time together and find some mindfulness in our day and see if we can have a little bit of fun. So for our lesson today, if you have a bolster, or you can take a cushion, if you have like an outside cushion, or maybe a big pillow or a couple of blankets so that you can have a seat, because our class today will be a seated class. So we want to take a comfortable cross-legged pose first. And for some of us, this is a comfortable pose. And for other of us, not so much. So you might want to put your feet out in front of you, or you might want to sit some other way. And I invite you to sit however it is that you want to sit and feels good for you in your body. So this is yoga time with Michelle. And so we have a half an hour, so you can watch our sands of time go by as we work on our yoga class today. So the first thing that we're gonna pull out is our yoga sequences. So if you have the flashcards at home, or even if not, just go ahead and follow along with what I'm doing as best you can that feels good in your body, and that's what I want you to do. So our first posture today, we're gonna take a nice seated one here, is going to be a seated tree, right? So oftentimes in yoga we see tree where we're standing up nice and tall, and that's a beautiful posture, and that's so good for us because it helps with our bone density for building nice strong bones. It helps with focus and balance and concentration, which can be helpful if you're taking tests or things along this line, and all other kind of things. But it's also nice to find different ways to do the same thing that feels good for you to do in your body. So for me today, I'm gonna do a seated tree. And so I'm gonna drop my fingertips down and let my shoulders fall back. And just invite that chin to the chest. Now can we just let our branch arms just fall and hang? Take a nice deep breath. And let that gaze follow the hands as we inhale up overhead and invite those hands to center. Let's do it again. Dropping those fingertips down, gaze follows, up nice and big, and back to center. One more time, let's drop it down, bring it up, back to center. Beautiful. Now, what are some things that trees do that we find in nature? Sometimes trees sway. So we'll take our tree arms and we'll just sway our tree arms. And let's imagine it's a windy day. And so we have really windy day. Those arms are swaying just like branches on a tree. Maybe the wind is blowing one way, and maybe the wind is blowing the other way. And maybe the tree is swaying every which way, and you can just playfully sway your tree arms however it is that you want to sway them. Let's just move our tree around. Okay, so can we sit up nice and tall, and with our tree trunk, open up our chest nice and big. Take a deep, deep, deep breath, and exhale. Beautiful. Now, let's take our bottom tree branch and put it on top. Can we do that? Put our bottom tree branch and put it on top and sit nice and comfortable. And go back to our seated tree, soft and easy. Move our tree trunks. Maybe we're a little tree that was just planted in the ground, or maybe it's just beginning to spring up on its own. And so maybe its trunk sways. Maybe its trunk sways round and round and follows the breeze this way and that. Can you follow the breeze with me? This way and that, and change directions. This way and that. Swirling your body round, just like a little baby tree sprouting from the ground, moving around on a windy day. Okay, let's shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, for our next posture, we're gonna put our feet out in front of us, and we're gonna flex our toes. And can you invite your toes closer to your nose? Closer to your nose, closer to your nose. Can you sit up tall and rest your hands on your thighs? If you have the flashcards, this posture is called staff pose. So, as we're hanging out in staff pose and our heels are pressing away and our toes are coming towards our nose, can we open up our toes as big as possible and have our big toes touch and just wiggle the toes? Wiggle, 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 wiggle the toes. This way and that. Can you just wiggle one toe? Oh, wiggling one toe is hard. Can you wiggle all the toes on one foot? And then can you switch feet? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, can you slide your hands down your legs and maybe your hands stop right on your shins, either above or below your knee, maybe on your thighs, maybe below. Maybe you can reach to your feet and still be comfortable and your body still feels good. So I invite you to take a moment. Can you check in and see how you're feeling here? How does your body feel here? Can you close your eyes and drop your chin to your chest and just take a soft, easy breath here. And just hang out in this place. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Can we come on up and bring one knee with us? It doesn't matter which one, just pick one. And let's set the sole of our feet into the earth and flex out our foot, our extended foot, and wiggle those toes and flex that foot. Can we do so with a nice soft knee and sit up nice and tall? What if we give our shin, our leg, a nice big hug? Can we give it a nice big hug? Sometimes it's nice to get a nice big hug, isn't it? And just rock from side to side. Can you do that? If this feels good to you, you can keep doing this. Or maybe you want to sit up nice and tall, give that leg a hug with one arm and twist back behind you. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, bring those feet forward, reach those fingertips to the toes. Take a nice deep breath. And bring that other leg up. Can we bring that other leg up? Maybe we'll wiggle the toes of our extended leg. Can you wiggle one toe at a time? What about that? I know before we tried to wiggle only one toe and that was hard to do. Can we wiggle just one toe at a time? Let's try that. Yeah. You know, the thing is our feet live in shoes all day long. And so sometimes if we can take our shoes off a little bit, it gives us a chance to move our feet and exercise our feet and allow them to say, hello, thank you for joining me for Yoga with Michelle today. Let's sit up nice and tall. There are tall tree trunks. Soften our shoulders and hold on to our shins. And maybe this feels really good just this way. And let's just rock side to side and let go of any of the tension or pressure that we may have. Just rock from side to side. And how does that feel in your body? You sit up nice and tall while you allow your body to sway, like that tree trunk back in the wind. Do that? You can stay here if you're happy here, or you can sit up nice and tall and send that other arm back and take a twist. Nice deep breath. Legs together. So let's talk about twists for a minute. Why are twists so great? Twists are so great because it gives a chance to wring the body out like a sponge. So if you have a sponge and you put it in the sink and you put a bunch of water on the sponge and you go to pick it up, it's heavy. And so by wringing it out, we wring out all that extra water, and then it's light. And if you ever noticed how good it feels to be light instead of heavy, so give that a try sometime, yeah? All right, so for our next posture, we're gonna flip around, and I'll see you in a minute. We're gonna flip around, and we're gonna scooch our bottoms to the bottom of our bolster or blankets or pillows or whatever you got, and we're gonna roll the spine back one bone at a time, vertebra by vertebra, one at a time. And we're gonna come into a posture called fish, which is why I'm looking at you here. So your arms can be alongside you like this, but what I want you to do is keep the neck nice and soft. So it might feel more comfortable for you to have your hands under your head this way and just let those shoulders fall. Is that nice and comfortable? And can you imagine the soles of the feet are on the ground and stretching the tops of the feet and opening up the chest and taking a nice deep breath in fish. Nice deep breath. How loud can you make your nice deep breath? Awesome. Okay, let's flip on over to our bellies. Hi again. Thanks for joining me for Yoga with Michelle. I hope you're enjoying the moving around and some of the breathing. And you know, we've had our chance to move our spines. We've sat up nice and tall. We've moved our spines from side to side. We've twisted our spines. We even did a little bit of a back bend there in fish pose. It was just a little one, but it was there because of our bolster. And the only other posture that was left is our forward fold. And we did that in our staff pose. Remember when we reached for our feet? So if you can, try and move your spine in every direction every day. You know, whether it be side to side or twisting or upside down or back again, or just sitting up nice and tall into a tall tree. And you might find that you can really pay attention to how you're feeling inside your body, and that feels good. So we have some more time to move to our activity now. So for our activity today, we have colored pencils, markers, crayons, whatever you have, and a coloring book. And so my favorite coloring book is the Mandalas coloring book. I really like this one. I like them because they have little sayings on the inside and pretty pictures that you can finish coloring in, or you can color the whole picture yourself. But you can do any kind of coloring book that you like. So maybe just pick out a coloring book of something that you find to be interesting or fun and choose that one. So this one, the saying here is, everything has beauty, but not everyone can see. So I like that saying. You know, it doesn't, we can be beautiful, and maybe sometimes people see that, and maybe sometimes people don't see that, but I think what's really important is that we see our beauty inside ourselves, and I see the beauty inside you. So let's get our colors. Now, have you ever thought about how you're feeling and assign it a color? You know, like maybe you had a really relaxing day, a really, really relaxing day, and you could say, I have a color blue like the sky. And did you know different colors make us feel different ways? So maybe if I want a little bit of relaxation, I'm just gonna color in my coloring book with some of the blue here. I'm gonna do that. And you can get your colors and your crayons, and you can color along with me while we talk about the color blue and how it feels to do things that make us feel relaxed. So the good news is we get to choose if we feel relaxed. And so one way you can do that is maybe if you're not feeling so relaxed, you can get a blue crayon or marker or colored pencil or something, and maybe just color something in blue. And take all of your attention and all of your time and just focus. Focus all of your attention and all of your time on coloring in that something blue. And you know, the nice thing about this, I think, is there's no right or wrong in how you color blue. And I always say that you can color inside the lines, or maybe you play a game where you color all outside the lines, like the whole picture is colored outside the lines and then left empty on the inside. And that's okay too, right? So we're gonna color all these little half circles blue. And let's talk about how we were feeling in our body. Did we feel relaxed when we folded forward? Remember, we were sitting up tall with our tall tree trunks and our feet out. We were wiggling our toes, and we invited our belly towards our thighs, and we flexed our feet. You know, forward folds are really nice because they're grounding, and they help us feel centered and grounded. And when we feel centered and grounded, we tend to feel a little bit more relaxed. And so forward folds are really nice for that reason. So I'm going to color in, and I hope you're coloring along with me too, your picture. I wonder what you're coloring today. And just color in these little circles. Well, I have little half circles for my mandala coloring book. I also like a mandala coloring book because, you know, it helps me just color in small little bits rather than coloring in really, really, really big pictures. I can start and stop at any time, and I can go my own pace in my own way. And sometimes we get a little pressured when we take on a lot all at once. So maybe try and take on just a little bit at a time. So here's my blue circles. You can't see them. I'll bring them up closer and I'll show it to you the end too. So I feel relaxed because I've colored blue circles on my mandala. And I also like that my mandala is partially colored in for me. So I don't feel like I have to do the whole thing myself. You know, sometimes we feel that way, that we have to do the whole thing ourselves, and I don't know that we really need to do that. Have you ever felt like you wanted to go outside and you were feeling a little stuck inside? So sometimes I feel that way too. And I get my green crayon, or in this case, colored pencil, and I color with green, and I try and imagine all of the green things when I'm outside, like the green leaves and the green trees outside. So why don't you color along? Maybe you want to color in green, or maybe you want to color in a different color, and that's okay too. You can do whatever you like. But you know, whenever you feel like you're stuck inside and you wish you were outside, and you know, maybe you're not outside because it's raining that day, but imagine that you're just coloring green and you could feel the little blades of the grass beneath your feet. And do that. And you can look up in the blue sky. Remember our color blue, or blue sky. You can see the relaxing blue sky with the big white fluffy clouds. And imagine as though you're looking down and you can see your feet in the green grass. Yeah. And you can look up and see the green leaves on the trees. And maybe you have other green things. Maybe you could play a game, an I Spy game. I spy things that are green and look around and see what those things look like. So, as I'm almost done coloring in my green leaves here in my mandala coloring book, I feel a little closer to the earth today. And even though I'm inside right now, I know that I'm going to be able to go outside and feel the green grass under my feet and look up in the blue sky and see the green leaves and take in a nice deep breath of fresh air. So you see my picture? You see I've got my green leaves here, and I'll show it to you at the end too so it's closer so you can see it really nicely. Okay, so what else? How are we on time? We're doing good on our sands of time. Have you ever felt like you wanted something so bad? Maybe it was that you wanted to go outside, right? And you felt angry, right? Sometimes we feel angry, and I want you to know that most of us feel angry sometimes, and that that's okay. What's important, though, is that we know what to do with those feelings so that we don't scream and yell. And, you know, sometimes when we scream and yell, we hurt other people's feelings and then we're sorry. And so instead, let's get our red crayon. And whenever we're feeling a little angry, we'll color in something red. How's that? So I'm just going to color these little red mandala ones, and I'll show you at the end, but it almost looks like little flames of red fire. And fire is something that can get us in trouble because it can be hot, right? But it's important to know that everybody feels angry sometimes, and that's okay. Right? It's important just to decide, what are we going to do with that anger? And are we going to pay attention to it? And then maybe do something like yoga poses, or right now we're coloring our mandala in red color to just feel that and just be in that space. I'm going to color it in. Maybe we'll just take a little time to focus on our breath. So I'll stop talking now so you can color quietly in red and just feel your thoughts and feel your breath. And we'll take a cooling breath though. So for this one, we'll inhale through the nose, and then we'll roll up our tongue like a snake tongue, and we'll exhale through the tongue. So, okay. Now can you do it the other way? Roll up your tongue and inhale through the tongue and out the nose. Okay, now we're going to inhale through the tongue and then exhale through the tongue. You feel how cooling that feels? Kind of takes the heat away a little bit. Anyway, so while you're coloring your red coloring, just play around with your breath a little bit. See what feels good to you. Just be sure not to hold your breath. Can you feel that cool air on your skin when you breathe out? All right. And here's my red my red flames right there. Can you see there? And I'll bring it up closer at the end so you can see it really nice. So I hope that you've enjoyed this coloring activity. We're gonna set this aside for a minute and we're just gonna take a moment for snack. So it's really important to think about what you eat because it really impacts how we feel. So if we're eating something that makes us feel relaxed, or if we're eating something that makes us feel nice and strong, like our green crayon, or if we're eating something really hot that maybe burns our mouth a little bit, right? That's kind of like the red crayon. So we want to pay attention to what we're eating for our snack. So today I have popcorn, which is really good. And you know, not all popcorn is the same. I'm gonna open up my popcorn bag and then give me just 1 second so I can go wash my hands, okay? Hold on, I wanna be sure to wash my hands before I have my popcorn. And while I do that, I'll just set up my coloring here for you to look at so you can see. I hope you like that. Okay. Wash my hands. We want to make sure we wash our hands really well. Wipe down each finger before we eat and after we eat. And especially if we're like sharing crayons with our friends, we want to wash our hands after that. So for my drink today, I have water. We always want to make sure that we drink plenty of water during yoga. And I've got my popcorn. So when you choose your snacks, I invite you to choose something that makes your body feel like it has more energy after you eat it, but not so much energy like a candy bar that you feel a little restless and maybe even stressed out. Oftentimes when we eat things with a lot of sugar in it, like a candy bar, we have a lot of energy for a bit, and then we have very little energy after that. So, this is good. And you know what's interesting is you can look on the back of the popcorn and see what's in it and how good it is for you. And you might not know what all of that means from the beginning, but in time and practice, you'll come to know. Let's pay a little bit attention to what you're choosing to eat. Here's a secret tip for you. If on the back of your packaging, there's a whole lot of items, you might not want to eat it. Try and eat things that have maybe only 5 or 10 items at the very most on the back of it. So I'm gonna finish up my snack and I'm gonna drink some more water, and I hope you do the same thing too. So have a great day, everybody, and thanks so much for joining me for Michelle. My name is Michelle for Yoga with Michelle, and it was good seeing you, everybody. I see the light in you.